Hello, everyone. It's Catfish and Ice. We're back. Had a little bit of time off. It's episode 284 with your hosts, Chad Minton and Max Greenberg, coming to you as we approach the Christmas season. We're already in the Christmas season. This guy right here, a bachelor, you can see my dilapidated bachelor Christmas tree. The lights are already dead on it. I feel like I can't do nothing right. The mic's blocking it. Let's see if I can do it for all our viewers. Oh, yeah. You see that little dead tree?
I see yourself in the background a little bit.
As we know, it's not alive. It's fake. But yeah, I can't do anything right, it feels like, when it comes to a bachelor trying to be in the Christmas spirit. But you know who can do something right lately? And we don't get to say this very often. It's the Nashville Predators, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe we should just do an episode every 2 or 3 weeks, and this team will win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Max, that's how I feel about it right now. I mean, I don't want to give any of the trolls and haters any bad ideas right now, but we don't record for 2 or 3 weeks, and suddenly the Predators are like waking up here. They're showing they have a little bit of a pulse, and they've won 5 of 7. They've actually, and not just winning, but they're actually beating some pretty decent teams. So we have to make that a very important point. It's not like they're just beating up on other bad teams. They're winning against some pretty impressive opponents. We're about to get into that because last night it was last place against first place in the entire NHL, Max.
Yeah.
So we're going to break that down. We're going to recap it, talk about the standouts from that game. I stayed up late. That was so it was one of the rare nationally televised games that the Predators have this year. And it was on the HBO Max package. And funny enough, personal story, been trying to trim down, Max, on my subscriptions. I've got too many subscriptions. A lot of them I don't use.
I have YouTube that I don't really use.
I don't watch nearly enough TV to have all these subscriptions. So last month, HBO Max was one of the ones that took the axe. No pun intended. Max took the axe. And we're talking to Max, my co-host. Wow,
right.
That was crazy that just all happened that way. I did not choreograph that, I promise. I'm not that smart to choreograph it that way. But yeah, I took Max out. HBO Max was out. And then I found out, you know what? I'm off work tonight. They're playing the Avalanche. We're doing an episode tomorrow night. I should probably watch this game, even if it's going to be a disaster. I should probably watch this game. So HBO Max got me for another $18. I resubscribed. And the Preds did me right, and they won. So we're going to talk about that game. So that's going to be fun. We already got a comment rolling in, and it is from Adam. And he says Fortnite with a question mark. No, I don't play Fortnite. I think I played it once.
I'm not a Fortniter either.
He says, what are you yapping about? Yeah, not Fortnite, dude. Not Fortnite at all. But give me your Fortnite tips if you'd like. That'd be fun. But he says I don't either. All right, cool. Yeah, I can't help you with Fortnite. I'm sorry. But yeah. So we are also going to get into we're going to look in the top 5 players that are really surging this stretch here that we're seeing. And what's really crazy about where the Predators sit right now, we're 29 games in if you're talking about the Preds, and they are 1 point. This is going into tonight's game, so I'm not talking about whatever's happened tonight so far because I haven't checked the scores yet. Max can be there with me on that if he wants to look at them. But going into Wednesday night's games, the Predators were 1 point out of last place in the entire NHL, only ahead of Vancouver, and they're also 5 points from being tied for a wild card spot. Now, I know we're early in the season, but we're almost 30 games in. So that's deep into the season to see that close of a difference there when you're talking about last place and playoffs. And I'm framing that based off of Barry Trotz's thinking. Barry Trotz's thinking is what that's what confuses me here is what is he thinking right now? Because he said 7 or 8 games before I have that conversation. That was Greg Wyshynski of ESPN. He put that article out on November 25th. And we are at that 7-game mark, basically. And I know what the fans want. They have made that clear for years, not just this year, but years prior to this. So we really got to talk about that tonight, Max.
Yeah.
What are the scores looking like tonight?
I haven't checked anything yet. Let me take a look here in my NHL. If I can get it up really fast.
You're good.
Okay, got him.
This up too.
Calgary's losing. That's important for us.
All right. Well, there you go.
That's the only team that's playing tonight that's really like near us. Vancouver's not playing tonight, and they're the other team. Vancouver's now in last place.
Well, there you go. I mean, I just thought about the classic South Park meme of I didn't hear no bell. And I'll be honest, and I'm not saying that we might all have false hope here. I'm not even saying I have false hope here. I still feel like this team is entirely under talented compared to some of the best teams, even after what we saw from the Avalanche. But you know what's beautiful about the sport of hockey, Max, and I know you know this, you can see upsets, and this is not taking anything away from the Predators last night. This is actually giving them credit. So I don't want people to take this as a backhand compliment for me. I'm actually giving them a huge compliment here. This is what's beautiful about the sport of hockey is you can see a first-place team, a historically good first-place team, mind you. The Avalanche are like, they cannot be beaten in regulation, and they couldn't be beaten by the Predators, even though
they would have gotten beaten in regulation if we just held them for 8 more seconds last night.
Yeah, we got to talk about that too. Yeah. But yeah, Philip Forsberg, what are you doing, man? But yeah, I'm not even talking about the shootout. But yeah, let me refocus here. God, we got so much to get into. But no, what I'm saying is you see that type of a on paper such a lopsided matchup, and you think, okay, this is going to be like the Avalanche, and the Avalanche are such a good team, and we saw it last night. That's the beauty of last night's game. I didn't get flukiness out of anything out of that game last night. The Predators met them toe-to-toe on the defensive end. Their offense, of course, had trouble scoring. They went long stretches without being able to get shots on net. We know that about this team. We know that. The Avalanche are very, very skilled at picking your pocket, and they did that all night last night against the Predators. That you saw Predators skaters like Forsberg, like Marchessault, like Stamkos trying to make their moves into the zone, and they just got their pockets picked. I mean, the stick lifts, stealing the puck, it was pretty hard to watch. But on the defensive end, the Predators clamped down.
They did.
They protected Sark.
Absolutely.
They gave up a lot of they did give up a lot of shots on net. They did. They gave up 40 plus when it was all said and done. And
it didn't feel like it.
It didn't feel like it because I mean they let Saros see the puck a lot, but yeah, the beauty of hockey is you can see that kind of thing happen every now and then. And 5 of 7 now for the Predators. And they're 5 points out of a wild card spot and 1 point out of being in last place in the entire league. That is the crazy part about this league right now. And we're only 10 games shy, 11 games, 12 games shy, basically, of the midway point of the season. So that is pretty crazy to see right there. But let's get to South Park. Let's get Randy off of the screen there. But and let's get into the opening face-off and get more into this game. Also, this, Max. How about this one? Since the Preds resembled a competent hockey team, it feels like it's been 84 years.
Feels like it's been.
I mean, that's another classic meme we can use here because 5 of 7. It's not an 18-game point streak, mind you, like we got a couple years ago. But it is 5 of 7, and it still feels really, really damn good. So, yeah, not quite 84 years, but it might as well feel like that way. But let's get into it now, and let's really break down that game last night. Max, did you get a chance to watch that game from start to finish?
Yeah, I did. I almost didn't.
Stayed up play for it.
I almost missed the very beginning because the game on TNT right beforehand, Vegas, New York Islanders went to overtime. Luckily, I have YouTube TV, and I started the game on True TV. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I ever switched over to TNT. Either way, I did.
So my situation was different. So I, like I just said, I like resubscribed to Max. They got me for that one. I essentially paid $18 to watch that game because look, HBO Max has some good shows. So I'm going to use every bit of this month to watch it, but thankfully it's month to month. Probably going to cancel it next month. But either way, they got me. And so I was doing the same thing. So it was 9:30 Eastern time because I'm in Tampa. And I click on it, and it keeps saying event starting soon, event starting soon, event starting soon. And it was like 9:45, and it still says event starting soon. So then I'm like pulling up my NHL app to see if like the game has started, and HBO Max is off, and it says no, the game hasn't started yet. I'm like, all right, 9:30 Eastern time, my ass. It really didn't actually. The opening puck drop didn't happen until like 9:50 Eastern time.
PSA here really quickly, and this is one of kind of my pet peeves. Everybody doesn't learn this. People need to learn when these are nationally televised games, like on TNT, even in like the playoffs of these games. It almost never starts until 20 minutes later. People have to learn that. These games always start, like, if it's like a TNT game and it says start at like 8:30, it's going to start at 8:50. Like, that's how it goes every time. Like, remember in the playoffs against Vancouver, the games, they said they were going to start at like 9 Central. They don't really start until 9:20. And every year, people are shocked about that.
I guess I'm just so accustomed to the Predators not getting a national televised game that I forgot. You know, yeah. I mean, like if you include my Titans team, then I really never get to watch my professional sports teams ever play in a nationally televised game. It pretty much feels like it never happens. But yeah, you're right, Max. Like in this day and age, yeah, you're the announced start time is never the actual start time.
It's bogus.
But anyway, I did stay up for it, and the way that game started, I didn't feel great about it, not just because of the opponent, but because the way the game started, goals were scored like fast and furious, back and forth.
Well, we allowed another one in the first minute.
I know. I know. That's just like you almost expect that every game now, Max. Like every game you watch
that one play, and I hate to call out Roman Josi.
I knew you were going there.
He got absolutely owned on that play. It was one-on-one Brock Nelson, and Brock Nelson
he did
absolutely just. I guess that he owned him. It was no two ways about it.
He got undressed there. He did, and it happens to the best of them.
Yep.
In open ice, he did, and I thought Saros misplayed it as well. But that was definitely a bad play. But yeah, you've almost come to expect the Predators to just like give up a goal in the first 60 seconds. Like when I turn on a Preds game these days, I'm just like, all right, let's give up this first goal here. Let's get it out of our system. Like it really feels that way lately. But to the credit, let's focus on the positive here because I will call myself out on this one. I'm not one of those types where I will put out a take in a game and not own up to it when I'm wrong. And I was totally wrong. So in the first period, I didn't think UC Saros looked comfortable at all. He was shaky. Even the saves he was making, he looked really like shaky and not locked in and just kind of like fumbling the puck a little bit, just kind of like chaotic. And I was like, man, going up against the Avalanche, this is going to be a long night. Like they might score 6+. I was feeling that way in the moment. And I didn't like the back and forth. Even when the Predators scored 2 goals, I didn't like the back and forth here. I was like, in a track meet style game, this is not going to go well for the Predators at all. This is what the Avalanche want. They want to do this. They want to go back and forth. Like their speed against our speed, it's going to be over. But We're going to put it back on the bottom of the screen here. You can read it. UC Saros proves me wrong. And I've always been a big UC Saros fanboy. I'll admit that. But I didn't think he looked good at all to open that game last night. And he proved me wrong, I'll tell you that. And he rallies for 39 saves, a .29 save percentage. And really where he
goal save above expected, that's that fitting. .74 goal save above expected. That's fitting for UC Saros.
Where he really won that game for Nashville for me was in the second period, because Nashville, they couldn't get any shots. I mean, they were defending for almost the entire opening of that second period. They were defending. They were having to dig deep. And I don't want to just give all the credit to Saros, because I also watched in that game, even though they were defending a lot, they were deflecting a lot of passes. They were keeping everything in the boards. They were doing their best to at least keep them from getting into the slot, getting into the high danger areas. And credit to the TNT broadcast. They did a great job as well. I haven't watched a lot of TNT broadcast, and they did a good job breaking down the game. And one thing that I really loved that they shared that I want to share with you guys, if you didn't get a chance to watch the TNT broadcast, you're listening to this show, backdoor passes. Nashville has gotten burned on backdoor goals all year long. And they really broke down UC Saros's goaltending style, which the diehard Preds fans know that he is one of the most undersized goalies that you will see in this game. He is a minority in that regard. Most teams like to go for the large goalies who can settle into their crease and just put up a big frame, quite frankly. UC Saros has to be more aggressive. He has to go further out of his crease to attack a lot of these
about this very thing.
And so credit to TNT for talking about that, because that was really, really good stuff there. And they pretty much predicted how that game went in terms of Saros, because that's how he played the rest of the game. He was aggressive. He attacked the crease when guys were coming at him. He locked in after giving up those 2 goals and kept the Predators in the game all the way deep into the third period. Now let's talk about, so the Predator, Reed Schaefer, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that goal, Max, where he's on the boards with another fellow youngster, Fedor Svechkov.
And I was going to say, Svechkov was who really made that play. It was a lost faceoff for the Preds. So, I mean, honestly, I missed the goal like in real time, because I saw them lose a face. I'm like, I'm going to check my phone for a quick second. Nothing's going to happen. I look, I thought Preds have scored a goal. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then I go see the replay, and the Preds lost faceoff. Puck was in the corner. Svechkov goes and digs the puck out from the corner, gets out to Schaefer, who walks in front of the net for, like I said, a greasy goal, and just puts the Preds up. Just hard-working play from 2 young guys, and one of them who just, just got called up, and who knows how high Reed Schaefer's ceiling is, but I mean he's made a good first impression.
Well, let me say something about that when it comes to Reed Schaefer. I don't know how high his ceiling is. I agree with that. It's way too early. He's 6 games in. But he's definitely got staying power in terms of just his style of play. I mean, I love his physicality, and I love his ability to turn his physicality into offense. He showed that in that goal. Very aggressive. Doesn't give me any vibes that he's kind of like starstruck, or he's like, I can't live up to the moment. Like I'm not used. No, he has a very good swagger to his game, and it's very similar to Matthew Wood and Ozzy Weisblatt. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be very, very optimistic right now about the long-term future. Long-term. I'm talking like 2-3 years down the road, when these guys continue to fill out their games and build their games, develop their games. So, but Reed Schaefer, fun stuff there. Big goal. Fedor Svechkov also battling on the boards. I like what I'm seeing from him because, I mean, that was a
He's
pretty
starting to pick it up.
nightmare way to start his season. Couldn't even get on the score sheet, not even a secondary assist. Pretty much invisible out there. Lost that second line center role that he was originally projected to be in, similar to Tommy Novak, who got traded. But he has stuck around and he's just battled through it. And that's what you want to see from a young guy like him is, I mean, look, Svechkov had a rookie mistake, if you want to call it that, last night. He knocked the puck clear over the boards for a delay of game penalty. I mean, it was obvious.
It happens.
And it happens. It does happen. Don't hold it against him at all. But I'm just saying, like, those are the kinds of things that are going to sometimes happen when you've got a younger roster, for sure. And so you're seeing that blend right now for the Predators. You've still got the older guys who haven't been traded yet. And but you're seeing Andrew Brunette still let these young guys play. He doesn't really have an option.
Right.
There's no one else for him to turn to. So I don't want to give him too much credit for that either. But, I mean, so the rest of the game plays out. Let's get into what happened at the very end. So the Predators take the lead.
Yep.
And, I mean, I felt it coming. So Eric Holla takes a tripping penalty. It was a clear tripping penalty. I actually thought it was a very well officiated game.
Oh, I didn't have any issues with the officiating.
I mean, all the penalty, they let them play. They very fairly officiated both teams. They did. The Predators took 3 penalties in a row after going all of the first period and deep into the second period without taking a penalty.
Which is also, you were talking a little bit ago about, giving the defense credit for how they played in front of you. Saros, obviously taking 3 penalties in the period is unacceptable, but give them credit. They killed them all.
They did. They were 3 for 3 on the penalty kill against the Avalanche, which the Avalanche,
well, not ultimately the end of the game, but yes.
Their power play, but how crazy is it that the Avalanche power play is so bad?
I know, right?
When they're this good. Like,
right.
That's kind of scary. If you ask me, that's kind of terrifying.
I agree.
What happens when this team figures out their power play, which we all figure they eventually will? How good are they going to be then? Like, it's like kind of crazy to think about. So anyway, they go 3 for 3. We get into the third period, and you're thinking, okay, wow, like, we got the lead here. And I mean, when they took that last penalty there on Eric Holla, like I said, a clear penalty, no issues with it whatsoever. And I was just like, they're going to give up this tying goal. They are. They're not going to survive.
Everyone knew what was going to happen. I literally said, like, it would be, I tweeted at the time, it would be a miracle if we got into regulation with the lead.
Like, there's no way they're going to survive this. First of all, a little credit to Brady Shea, the punching bag of the Preds fan base.
Yeah.
There's always one punching bag. Every team has a punching bag. There's one player that just gets all the punching. And for me, it's got to be Brady Shea. If I was just saying who gets the most punches from the fan base right now, it's definitely Brady Shea. Probably closely behind him is Steven Stamkos. But Brady Shea gets it's his first goal of the season, and it was a good play. I thought he had a really good game. I've really been watching Brady Shea every game I watch lately more closely, just to see, like, am I being too harsh on the guy? And I really do think he's been playing a lot better lately. And I love the game he played last night. And that goal he made, he fired it into traffic. And when you're a team like the Predators, where you lack a lot of elite offensive talent, that's what you got to do. You got to simplify things. I know that just sounds like so basic, but it's true. Like, you really do. You have to simplify things. You have to look for chaos. You have to fire that puck into traffic. Look for deflections. He didn't have to deflect that. It actually got through all of that traffic and beat Wedgwood for his first goal of the year. So that was cool. But let's get to when the Avalanche emptied the net, like, very, very early, like sooner than a lot of teams might sometimes empty their net when they're down by a goal late in a game. I want to say it was like barely past under the 3-minute mark. Max, do you remember exactly when they emptied the net? I want to say it was just under 3 minutes left.
I don't really remember. Honestly.
I remember looking up. I definitely remember looking up at the game clock, and it was like 2 minutes and 40 seconds or something like that, and they had already emptied their net. So it was somewhere in that neighborhood. And I was thinking, oh my God, we're going to have to kill. We're going to have to be at a one-man disadvantage for 2 minutes and 40. I'm not thinking like, oh, the Preds will get an empty netter. I'm not thinking that at all. I'm thinking we got to stop. I'm thinking we got to stop this Avalanche team from scoring a goal with an extra person on the ice for 2 minutes and a large chunk of seconds. I was thinking, I was already scared. And then Phil Forsberg, I thought he was going to easily get an empty net goal. And he just couldn't do it. He turns over the puck. Not blaming the entire goal on him, the last second goal. 9 seconds left on the clock. Cal McCarr scores the tying goal. Crazy sequence there as well, Max. This was just a great game, first of all. Like, I'm not even saying this because the Preds won. I'm just saying in general, this was one of the better games I've watched in a while. And how about McCarr breaks his stick? Forget about Nathan McKinnon, who UC Saros robbed Nathan McKinnon multiple times last night. But Cal McCarr, towards the end of this game, was coming at the Preds like a cyborg. I always call the Avalanche a bunch of cyborgs, like Terminator. Cal McCarr was like, Eye of the Tiger, like, I'm going to tie this game. And he did it. Credit to him. I mean, that's why he's the best defenseman in the league right now. He broke his stick, goes back, gets a new one, and then a few seconds later ties the game. But the Preds play a really good overtime period. Both teams trade possession. Both goalies make great saves. Very exciting overtime period. You go to the shootout, and only one person scores in the shootout, and it's Ryan O'Reilly.
And it was on the first shot of the shootout.
And we're about to get to this, the top 5 point scorers over this 7-game stretch where the Preds have won 5 of 7. And not only is it significant because it's 5 of 7, but it's significant again because of Barry Trotz's 7 to 8 game stretch that he said in that ESPN article. So that's very significant there. So we're about to put that on the screen, your top point scorers. Max, you want to take a guess of who is the top point scorer for the Predators during that stretch? It's actually a tie. So name one of the two.
I'm going to say Luke Evangelista is one of them.
You're definitely right. Spot on.
Yep.
It's a tie.
The other, I'm just going to guess O'Reilly.
Hey, there you go. Ding, ding, ding. Max Greenberg doesn't miss a beat. So there you go. We got it on the bottom of the screen scrolling now too. So your top point scorers during this stretch is Evangelista and O'Reilly. And, Evangelista has gotten a lot of flack because of that contract holdout, but the guy is playing great hockey. I got to get my notes real quick, so I'm going to step out of the camera for 1 second. But I got my notes. I did a lot of notes on each game since that Florida Panthers 8-3 loss. And I want to tally. And one thing about Evangelista, everybody, is he has been all over the score sheet during this 7-game stretch, other than one game. The only game that Evangelista does not show up on the score sheet is actually the revenge game against Florida.
Yep.
Where the Preds won 2-1. He has been all over the score sheet in every other game. And I will say that I would love the only thing that's holding Evangelista back from really taking off is obviously we want to see more goal scoring from him. We want to see him light the lamp more, make those moves towards the net, score those elite goals. But look, the guy is piling up the assists. He's leading the team in assists. He's got 16 assists on the season. He's creating things. He's making things happen.
And that's his main bread and butter. Like he's a playmaker. That's his thing.
Yeah. So we got it on the screen here right now. Top 5 Preds point scorers since that 8-3 embarrassing loss to the Florida Panthers on November 25th. And you've got Evangelista and O'Reilly both with 9 points in 7 games. Michael Bunting. I mean, that's a guy that you love to see him taking off right now because he is, no matter how well he plays, we feel like he's being traded. He's not going to be re-signed, right? I mean,
I would hope probably not, because I don't think that this team is in a spot for that. I would not totally put it past Trotz.
You think Trotz could re-up him and keep him?
I don't doubt it. It's unlikely. Probably. I wouldn't put it. I really wouldn't put it past him.
And this is no knock on Bunting.
No,
we're not trying. I'm not trying to talk. I mean, the guy is he's
doing his job.
He also jumped on the top list voted by The Athletic of most punchable faces in the NHL.
Not surprised.
Voted by anonymous players. I mean, he only got like 1.4% of the vote, so it's not like he was that high. Shockingly enough, or unshockingly enough, Brad Marchand was on that list.
Would have never guessed that.
But yeah. But Michael Bunting, someone voted. One or two or three of Michael Bunting's peers voted for him as most punchable face. It doesn't surprise me because the guy gets in everybody's grill. So yeah. I think hockey players might take that as a badge of honor. Like, oh, I'm the most punchable face.
Oh,
that means I'm always.
No, they love that. Like, remember when Jeremy Lauzon was on the Preds? I believe he was one who said this, who said, I want to play like a prick. He literally said that.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's
all
hilarious.
Right. Yeah, there you go. So Bunting's got 6 points in 7 games during this 5 of 7 stretch. Steven Stamkos has 6 points during this stretch. And let me say something about Steven Stamkos. This guy, I've never seen a guy get robbed, so I'm not making excuses for him. He could definitely still be playing much better. But, I mean, he makes things happen. He could have easily had a goal last night. He hit a post last night. He was driving to the net. The guy is he's not a – I think Andrew Brunette has brought this term up before, passengers. We don't need passengers right now. Steven Stamkos is not a passenger right now. He is not just chilling and waiting to get traded. I didn't see that from him at all last night.
He was basically the reason for the third goal. Like, it started because of his forecheck.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of these guys have gotten a lot of criticism, and a lot of it is deserved. I'm not saying it's not, but we also have to give credit where credit's due if we're going to be a real fan base here. If we're going to be a real fan base, we can't be silent when these guys are digging deep right now.
I mean, it can only increase the, albeit still very slim chance that someone could trade for him.
And I'll say again right now, you're 1 point out of last place. You're 5 points behind a very, very, it's a very below average, dare I say, mediocre, mucky middle of the Western Conference. I mean, I look at the Western Conference and it looks really top heavy to me. It really does. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Let me look at the Western Conference standings for everyone. I'll read it. This is Wednesday night.
It is top heavy. Wow.
I mean, you look at Colorado and Dallas. I mean, come on now. We know. And obviously we know that once you get into the playoffs, everything changes. It's a 7-game series. I'm not speaking on that. I'm just speaking on what I see right now in the regular season. Colorado, Dallas, they are clear-cut favorites. They are going to go toe-to-toe to probably win the President's Trophy. Who knows? We'll see about the East. But, I mean, they're like far and apart, in a worlds apart better than the rest of the Western Conference right now. Third place, Minnesota is 10 points behind Dallas right now. 10 points. That's a crazy gap for this early in the season. Crazy gap.
Even what's crazier is even from like the gap between first and Central, which is Colorado, obviously, to first and Pacific, Anaheim is 10 points.
Yeah. Let's look at the gap of the wild card. You've got Chicago and Edmonton currently holding the 2 wildcard spots with 32 points each. And then you got little Nashville sitting down there with 26 points, 6 points back. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to make that gap up. They'll probably end up falling back. They're probably going to blow another tire. They'll probably, who knows? They'll probably hit another 4 or 5 game losing streak. I'm sure a lot of fans want that to happen. They want to tank for McKenna or whoever else. But all I'm saying is the math is telling me this. You can't just give up on the season. And I'm just wondering what Trotz is thinking right now. I really am, because he's in a conundrum. He is in a conundrum because he's got these assets who are playing better. They're showing some life. They're raising their trade value. So now the GM has to think, what do? Do I trade my assets when he doesn't have to trade them right now.
Oh, no.
I'm more or less speaking like, what happens, Max, if a really good trade comes across his desk in the next week or two, Max? And he's still this close to the Predators are like a 3 or 4 game winning streak away. They got St. Louis next. I mean, that's a team they can definitely hop over.
Very winnable game.
So I'm just trying to say, and I know everyone is like, this is nails on a chalkboard what I'm saying to a lot of people right now, but I'm just calling out what I see in the standings. I mean, we are still so early in the season, technically, and they are. What's crazy to me is they're 1 point out of last place and they're 5 points out of. They're now 6 points. I'm looking at the updated standings, so they're now 6 points. They're 6 points out of the wild card. I mean, we all think like, okay, Edmonton's eventually going to surge their way up.
Right.
I mean, their goaltending issues are bad. Chicago, are they legit? They're kind of performing ahead of schedule
I think this is
right
probably
now.
where they are, at least for this year. I think what they're standing right now is probably pretty indicative of where they should be this year.
But look at San Jose. San Jose is at 31 points, 14-3. Winnipeg is really, really hurting without Connor Hellebuck.
And it's really not that surprising that they're not as good as they were last year.
I mean, I don't really see a ton of surprises. Maybe that Chicago is that high. But when I look at this wild card race, I don't see any teams that are worlds apart better than the Predators right now. I think Utah is probably a team that I'm kind of surprised is this low down. And obviously Edmonton, but their goalie problems with Stuart Skinner, they can't trust.
They always tend to start low. Like they're gonna get better as the year goes. They always
exactly. And so really, I mean, when you look at this jumbled up wild card spot, you kind of feel like the Preds could hang around for a little bit longer, possibly, because none of these teams are really all that impressive. I mean, it's a very below average, mucky, I always say mucky middle. That's what I see right now in the Western Conference. I think the Eastern Conference is way more balanced and way more like you can't really hold a team based on their ranking.
It is tight in the Eastern Conference. Wow.
I give the nod to the Eastern Conference top to bottom over the West right now for sure.
I would say so. It's way more tight-knit in terms of points. The difference between the first place team in the East and the last place is 11 points. That's about as big as difference between that's bigger than between the first place in the Central and third place in the Central.
Yeah.
Or less than what you get.
Yeah. So to round out this list real quick, top 5 Preds point scorers on the screen here. Evangelista 9 points, O'Reilly 9 points, Bunting 6 points, Stamkos 6 points. And then you have you have 4 guys who have 5 points in that stretch. Forsberg, which that surprises you right there. When you first present this to people and you're like, okay, top 5 Preds point scorers, Preds have won 5 of 7. You got to think that Forsberg's probably leading the charge.
And he
actually hasn't.
Let's also, and tough to say this, but it's true. Forsberg this year has just not shown up as expected. He just hasn't.
Well, I have a little bit more to say about that, but before I get to that, let's give some love to DraftKings real quick and our latest offer. We're one of the Pick 6 promo podcasts of the year, so we're honored to do that for DraftKings and tell you about their offer with this. Pick 6 is a lot of fun, guys, so you got to check it out. Every yard, every sack, and every interception, and every touchdown. With Pick 6, DraftKings' newest game. Every snap can turn into a big-time payout. This isn't just watching the game. This is playing to win. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. It's that simple. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in Pick 6 credits with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. Just throw down $5. That's all you got to do. You know the game. Now make it pay. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as a non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer. So get in on it with the NFL season. Already 4 weeks left in the season, Max. And look at the Titans out there winning a game.
Hey, we got another one.
That was a fun game to watch, actually.
It was.
I mean,
it wasn't like we won off some stunning like fluke BS. Like that was a game the Titans genuinely won the game.
Shedeur Sanders versus Cam Ward. I was there for it. I watched it. I was excited about it, actually. And similar to the Preds, actually, I mean, I was very proud of how the Titans came up for that game. But Shedeur, I got to admit, Shedeur really impressed me.
Yeah.
He made some really, really impressive throws, but also Cam Ward was going against one of the best defenses in the league. People don't realize that about the Browns. And, you know, he threw an interception. He missed it. But, like, for the most part, I thought Cam Ward played a pretty smart game. And one of the things I love about Cam Ward, we're not going to go into a Titans tangent here. This isn't Titans time. But you can definitely rebuttal with me, Max, here on this one because you are the Titans expert here on the show. But one of the things I love about Cam Ward is the guy shows a lot of maturity when he's on the field. He doesn't let his emotions get the best of him. I think he commands a huddle very well. And just let this guy cook. Let this guy marinate, build a team around him. I know his numbers don't look great. I know he's not some rookie standout and all this stuff. I don't care. I love the intangibles of this guy. I love the way he carries himself. I see it in his eyes how bad he wants to win. And I see the accountability in his eyes. He doesn't make excuses. When he makes a turnover and the camera always pans on him, he always looks self-accountable. He always is going back to the drawing board, and he's thinking, okay, where did I screw up here? And the guy's got no weapons, and that's no disrespect to the players around him. They're all battling right now. But, I mean, put some, like, elite talent around him, some weapons built around this guy in the next couple of years. I'm very excited about Cam Ward.
I'll say one thing, and not a Titan time segment. I'll say one thing.
No, go, because I just ranted, so you should rant.
Cam Ward, in case people are kind of worried about the numbers and all that, Cam Ward, and again, we don't know if Cam Ward, we're not saying, he's the guy for sure. We're not going to get that answer until midway through next year or so. But just for a little kind of perspective here, Cam Ward has played against 6 of the top 10 defenses in the NFL. Denver, Los Angeles Rams, LA Chargers, Seattle Seahawks, Cleveland Browns again, as we just mentioned, and then Houston Texans twice he's played. So he's played a top 10 defense, and honestly, that maybe goes to the top 5, a lot of those defenses, almost about 7 times. And in those games, his numbers are 139 of 325 completion percentage, so 58.1 completion percentage. Not great, but not astronomically bad. 1,838 yards. I don't know if that's just throwing or total, but either way, 9 total touchdowns and just 5 interceptions. By the way, before that Cleveland game, he didn't throw an interception in 6 weeks. Now, one of them was the bye, but still, the guy's doing what he can in some rough situations.
Yeah. So, So 4 weeks left. We got 2 professional teams right now in Nashville, if you're a Preds / Titans fan, and they're both in very similar situations, oddly enough, where they're both trying to dig deep with, talent depleted rosters. Obviously, the Titans are in their situation where they can't sniff the playoffs, obviously, but still, it's kind of interesting time to be a fan of both these teams at the same time, because that's the position I'm in right now. And I can tell you that even though it sucks, I wish at least one of them was competitive in terms of battling for a championship or whatever. But it's kind of like humbling in a way to see the process play out. I still think the Titans are a way bigger mess, even than the Predators are, if I had to stack them against each other right now. I think the Predators can get back to success and playoff success faster than the Titans can, just because, NFL, like, it's a bigger roster. I don't know. We could have an argument for that.
Counterpoint, NFL players make way more immediate impact than NHL players.
They do, but I don't trust the Titans front office to make the effective draft picks more than the Predators. I don't know. It's an interesting debate. We'll save that for another episode. Right. But let's get to the next topic here, and that is who is making the most of their situation right now, Max? If you could answer this question, out of a bad situation for the Preds right now, who do you think is just digging the deepest and doing the most? I'm not just talking about like getting on the score sheet. I'm just talking about and maybe they'll get traded for this. Maybe they're playing so good that this is going to give them the ability to get traded. But I feel like we were probably going to say the same player, but go ahead and say yours, Max. Who's the one player who you think of first when you think about that?
I don't know, honestly.
For me, it's Ryan O'Reilly. I mean,
that's a good pick. The obvious pick in all this, since he's been playing well during the streak, is Juuse Saros, playing in front of a bad team and putting up really good numbers. That's the boring, obvious answer, I would say. In terms of a skater, though, if I had to pick one, I'm going to... You know something? Here's an answer. And here, actually, I think this is kind of perfect for me. I think one guy you could say is Nick Blankenburg.
Well, that's a fair pick. I mean, you called it, man. You called it. You were in his corner before the season started.
Like, he doesn't play for the first almost month of the season, comes in, and I believe he has 12. He has some of the most assists on the team. And he didn't even
I've got it right here. So
month.
over this 7-game stretch, Blankenburg has put up 5 points. Which for his role in the team, that's pretty impressive.
Yes, absolutely.
But even before that, I mean, he was. It's not limited to the 7-game stretch. He has made an impact all season. He looked good last night. I mean, he didn't get on the score sheet last night, but he looked good last night. He is, a lot of people would probably realize this or even know this, but some people may not know this. So I'll share this, but Nick Blankenburg was originally a forward and switched to defenseman very late in his hockey.
Forward on power plays a lot when he's been in.
Yeah. He is such a good skater. You think he's a forward a lot of times when he's out there. Right. So Blankenburg is a guy, though, Max, I think might get traded.
In the article that I wrote for Predlines that you just published today, I mentioned in that he's kind of, because in that article I kind of focused on the what the Preds are doing this year, and I kind of talk about how like some of their important young guys they're getting stuff out of, and some of their most important trade assets they're getting stuff out of. Nick Blankenberg's kind of a tweener between the two, so Barry Trotz has a decision to make there. There's a lot of room to get it wrong, but it's a good problem to have where you could either trade him, and if he continues to play well, maybe get something legit for him. If he can, or you could sign him to a potentially cheaper contract, and a guy who could potentially outplay is the value of that contract. I mean, I love, like I said, I've been on the Nick Blankenberg train for a while now. Talk like in the offseason, I wrote an article basically saying how he deserves playing time, and even like just this year, like part of the reason I say making the most out of the situation, kind of the adversity to deal with. I'm not saying not like a deal with a ton of adversity, but just kind of being out of the lineup. He even talked about how he used his faith to kind of help be thankful for just being in the situation he was, that he's gets even be in the NHL, and it kind of helped him. And now he comes and makes most out of his opportunity. And when you hear like that, that's a guy who's like I say, making the most out of your situation. You don't get to play originally, but you show up to practice, do your job, and then you come in and you're doing well.
Yeah. And in the situation we're in right now for the Predators, the defense really is, you got Justin Barron, who's been out since November 16th. So almost a month. And he is, let's see, the latest update was December 5th.
He just went on IR.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, you're not seeing any changes from the defense for the Preds right now. They're pretty much running with what they got. They're pretty pleased with what they got with Willsby, with Haig. Yossi's back in the lineup now. I like the defense right now, Max. I mean, you always worry about more injuries eventually coming down the pipe, but
that's the one spot on the team where they can kind of afford injuries.
Yeah. But I'm pretty pleased with what I'm seeing from the defense right now. They definitely look, if we're stacking this team against last year's team, I feel way better about this year's defense than last year's defense.
I would say so.
In front of Saros.
In fairness, last year's defense was so decimated injury-wise that they were like an AHL caliber defense out there. It was unfair.
And if we're really stacking this year's team against last year's team, I looked at it. Last year's team at this time through 29 games was a lot worse. Not a lot worse, but they were definitely behind the pace of this year's team. Let me get the exact record. Yeah, so through 29 games last season, the Preds were 7 wins, 16 losses, 6 overtime losses for 20 points. Thanks to this 5 of 7 stretch that the Predators are currently on, the Predators are 11, 14, and 4 with 26 points through 29 games. So they're 6 points ahead of last year's pace, which went for 68 points, so it's not saying a whole lot. But my point is, that's going to really take us into first of all, let's answer this question real quick, Max. What do you think this team is doing better? Like, what's very clear that this team is doing better than last year's team? Or do you don't see anything? You think that they're mirror images of each other?
I don't want to say mirror images of each other. I guess if there's one thing I could say off the top of my head is, and maybe people can tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. It feels like they're kind of showing that kind of toughness more early on. Like even at the beginning of the year, when Preds won, didn't lose, only lost in regulation once, so like the first week and a half. And again, that kind of proved to be kind of a fluke, but still getting more out of it, getting more, out of what you had. And then going through that, really bad stretch, a little over a month from end of October to most of November, you come out and won 5 of 7. I think right now, at least, and granted, I don't want to say too much there because the Preds did go at least kind of more towards the end of the year, went through a few stretches of winning, and then which were proven to not really amount to anything, but they're kind of proving that, kind of fortitude more early on, I would say.
Yeah. I think coming out of that 8-3 loss to Florida, and even before that, coming out of that really just, I mean, even though they won the first game of that global series because they came back and made that comeback, that was still a pretty bad offensive showing in the global series. They were very lucky to win that first game, but that second game, they basically were a no-show. It was very difficult to watch that second game. I mean, it was like you could have found like anything better to do with your day than watch that game.
I'll tell you what I was doing. I was sleeping because that game was at 8 a.m.
There you go. But and you made the right choice by sleeping.
That game was on the same day as the Titans game at home. So once I woke up, but I was getting ready to go to the Titans game. So that was where my attention was directed.
But the point is, like, I mean, they could have folded this in. They could have been like, we are. I mean, so this is going to really take me into our final segment of the night. But also, I want to say, we're going to end the segment with a fun question. But also, we're getting towards the end here. But I will say this about stacking this year's team against last year's team. I don't want to be prisoner of the moment here because we're still so early, and the Predators are on a good stretch. And they're definitely surprising me right now. I mean, I'm not going to gloss over a win over the Avalanche, no matter how it looked, no matter how they gave up the lead late. I don't care. They gave up another early goal in the game. I don't care. I am never going to gloss over a win against a team.
They beat the best team in the league. You have to be happy about that.
But they also, I don't want to gloss over the fact that they got vengeance in that 8-3 loss. They came back and beat the Panthers 2-1. That takes a lot of fortitude, a lot of digging deep. I promise you those guys were like, we are not going to get punked like that again. 8-3. That game was definitely their most embarrassing beatdown of the year. And as low as the Panthers are in the Eastern Conference, and we just kind of mentioned it, the Eastern Conference is very misleading when you look at where people are in the standings because they're so close together. It's not like the West. The fact that they went toe-to-toe with the Panthers and they said, we're not going to let you punk us again like that, and they won 2-1. That's another one. They beat the Red Wings during this stretch. They beat the Red Wings during this stretch. I mean, they're showing a lot of poise, but I'm still going to guard myself from really trusting this team. I'm not quite there yet. I'm just not. And when we're teetering along this whole, we're going to be a seller no matter what, I think, but how big of a seller are we going to be is the question.
Right.
I think that's the question that Tross has to answer himself. I think he has to sell regardless of how good this team's playing.
The one thing,
but is he going to go full on, like, let's get rid of everyone we can, or is he going to be more meticulous and be like, all right, I'm going to over ask probably for a lot of, I feel like if the Predators keep winning like they are, Max, that he's going to set these prices really high. He's going to get some more leverage in his corner and not look as desperate of a team to sell. And he's going to put the asking price a lot higher. His asking price for Ryan O'Reilly is already pretty high. A first-round pick and a top-rated prospect is what he's asking for.
Yeah.
For Ryan O'Reilly. But what were you about to say?
I could see, like, in terms of, again, this is getting ahead of ourselves because we are still a solid 2.5 months, maybe more out from the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is, unless you're like so clearly locked into a playoff spot where you can kind of like throw caution into the wind in this regard, the one thing Trotz has to do, you got to deal with the expiring contracts. You cannot let Michael Bunting, you can't let Eric Holla, you can't even let Nick Blankenberg go to the offseason just like to walk for nothing. No. Again, unless you're like so clearly in a playoff spot where you can't just take that risk, the Preds are not going to be in that spot. No. Address those. And granted, whether that's, obviously we prefer to trade now. Again, I'm not going to, just say, oh, don't extend these guys at all. You never know what that could look like. And, I'm open to that potentially being an option. But the thing is, deal with those contracts. Make sure you either paid them or traded them by the trade deadline. In terms of what I can anticipate it being, I kind of anticipate it being, at least right now, being somewhat similar to the 2024 deadline, where the Preds kind of did what I said. They addressed the expiring contract, the elephant in the room. They traded Yakov Trenin, but then they kind of acquired 2 other guys for a cheap cost. And kind of in the spirit of, what we have, we're doing really well right now. For the most part, let's just roll with what we have. And sometimes that's an effective strategy where, like, look, you can't afford to, go out and, splurge on big pieces. But you also, it's like, it is a real thing. If your guys are playing well, you don't just want to, disrupt what's working. Sometimes effectively the best strategy can just be like, roll with what you got.
Yeah. He's in a really tough spot though, because he's going to have to really balance how he feels about this team. And I really wonder if how Trotz looks at this team. Does he look at the team that's 1 point out of last place, or does he favor more the team that is within shouting distance and is just a 3 or 4 game winning streak away from jumping some more teams and really being in that wild card hunt with not even midway point of the season yet? I mean, I wonder truly, and when it comes to evaluation as a general manager, he's been around the game for so long. He knows the game. He coached it at a high level for so long. Now he's got to be a GM. And we've talked about this before, Max. You have talked about this before, about Trotz, the coach, as a GM. Does that hurt him? Does he not handle it the right way because he thinks about it as a coach and not as a true GM?
That's what I worry about.
And that's what I worry about, because as the coach, he's seeing that this is why I keep bringing this up. He sees that his team is not that far out. They're not that far out. And he's got to juggle this right now because he's got some guys who are leaving it all out there. And we don't know the behind the scenes conversations that he's having with Ryan O'Reilly, with Steven Stamkos. Like, and these insiders are saying, oh, there's suitors out there. There's definitely a big list of suitors for Ryan O'Reilly. But even Steven Stamkos has some suitors. We still think the retained salary might have to happen, most likely. But
it would absolutely have to happen.
And, Trotz has said that they're not interested in retaining salary. So, I mean, I don't know. We're way too early to really do a deep dive on trade rumors. But what were you going to say real quick, Max?
I will say, somewhat in Trotz's defense of, when the trade at the 24 deadline were made, as I mentioned, the Preds at that point, they weren't like they were now where they kind of get in playoff spot. No, they were in a playoff spot, and they were on like game number 9 or 10 of like no regulation losses. Like they were like deep in a streak in a playoff spot like that. Right now, the Preds are kind of like winning 5 of 7, still a few points out. So it's not quite the same as it was. So I just want to say that, not saying Trotz won't make moves similarly, but I'm saying they are still not quite in that same spot.
All I think that this does right now is put a little bit more pause on the situation. Only 29 games in and almost nearly 3 months still away from the trade deadline. It's on March 6th of 2026. We're only on December 10th right now. This is when we're recording this. So a lot of time, a lot of games left. I'm sure Trotz is still testing the waters and taking calls and seeing what the interest is out there, doing his due diligence. But Trotz still has some time to let this play out, and that's what he should be doing. Not just letting it play out in terms of where the team goes, but letting it play out with how these individual players raise their stock.
Yeah.
Because there's a situation where the players can raise their stock, but the team still loses. So we're in this situation now where we have to really pay attention to these players and how they play. But I'm telling you, if this team keeps finding ways to win and they keep scrapping towards wins, and Saros, people have always said UC Saros is the reason why this team will never be able to properly rebuild, because he is always good for stealing some wins. I don't think that it was just him that stole that win against the Avs last night, though. I think the defense played a very commendable game.
And it's not just him that's fueling this like.
No, the young guys are playing well.
Yeah.
The young guys are playing very, very well. Matthew Wood was on a good streak there for a while, but now Reed Schaefer's making an impact. Fedor Svechkov's getting in the mix. Ozzy Weisblatt does his role very well down there.
Which it sucks he got injured.
How about Adam Wilsby? He was skating very effectively. He could have scored a goal last night. He made
that move in overtime. If he would have scored, he would have brought the house down. I would have lost lost it so bad.
Such a power move.
It was
such a power move. So, I mean, a lot still has to be determined right now with this team. And we were going to do a topic tonight on Andrew Brunette and what he has to do to justify for us that he stays till 2026-27. Let's put that on the shelf for the next episode. Keep you guys suspenseful here. But I do want to – we're getting closer to Christmas, and I don't know if we'll get it. We hope to get another episode out, but if we don't, what's one gift we want to get from the Preds before Christmas? So that means it can't be trade deadline stuff. This is like our – and my simple gift that I can get from the Predators before Christmas is just to keep showing that you have a pulse. Yep. I am old school. Hockey players don't tank, so I'm not worried about tanking anyway. Plus, it's a lottery system, so tanking makes no sense anyway. So I always get tired when fans are like, tank, I don't want you to win tonight. Like, you're ruining our odds. Like, that's so stupid. I said that last year too. So I love that this team is just showing a pulse. They're going toe-to-toe. Even in their loss, I know they had during this 5-7 stretch, they have a couple pretty lopsided losses against really good teams. Well, Winnipeg not so much, but Carolina, yeah, they got
Carolina.
I didn't feel good going into that game anyway.
Right.
My point is they're going through a pretty difficult stretch here in this 5-7, other than Calgary, but they're playing good, and I just want to see them keep rallying together. I know that's so cheesy, but that's all I need from this team. I understand where they are. I'm pretty at peace with where they are as a team. Even though they're, still technically very much alive to go on a run and make things interesting, possibly. I'm pretty much at peace with the fact that they are not a playoff team still. And I just want to see them show fight. As long as I keep seeing what I'm seeing right now from them, rallying together, living it all out there. Even the guys who possibly might get traded in a month or two, but they're still showing fight for the Predators while they're here. That's the kind of stuff I sign up for as a hockey fan.
Yeah.
When I see guys who might be traded, I see a guy like Michael Bunting who is rallying around his teammates when they score a goal. When he's throwing his body around out there through this 7-game stretch, he probably knows in the back of his head he's probably going to get traded. He's not. He's going to be playing for a different team.
He's playing for another contract.
But I love that he is showing. I see the guy out there as a veteran, kind of rallying around the young guys, playing hard. And I respect that out of a guy like Michael Bunting, who's kind of a journeyman type of player. So as long as I keep seeing stuff like that from this team, I can live with this team being another close to last place team. I'm not really focused on that right now. I'm more focused on this team just building a foundation. I know that's cheesy, but that's all I need to see is this team keep building on that foundation. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. We all understand that. Keep plugging away and building on that foundation. And that's all I need from this team leading up to Christmas.
Yeah. I would say for me, it's kind of keep doing what they're doing in terms, at least like I wrote my recent articles saying, keep the important young guys, keep their performances up, and the trade chips, keep their performances up. And if that happens, those are two of the most important objectives from the season.
Absolutely. And we got plenty of time for those trade chips to keep building their stock. And it's funny though, if your two objectives come true, then this team might keep winning. So
right.
It's kind of like a double-edged sword there.
Right.
But everybody, real quick before we get out of here, just to have a little fun, go back to the NFL world here. I'm about to put it on the screen, but Max is going to have fun with this. I've been having fun with this, too much fun with this.
Oh, I've been having so much fun with it.
How old is Philip Rivers again, Max? Is he 44?
44.
Into the practice squad
of the Colts.
And all these funny memes, and the internet's undefeated.
Oh,
so we're going to put this on the screen here. 44-year-old quarterback. He did his opening press conference today. And look, I like Philip Rivers. I like his moxie. I know he's a little hothead and whatever. But a good old Billy Madison a reference there. But Philip Rivers showing up to his first team meeting. There he is, right there. Yeah. How do you, NFL guy Max Greenberg, what do you think about Philip? Is he actually going to play a game for the Colts?
I mean, I don't know what other options we're going to have. Riley Leonard might not, like, obviously Daniel Jones which obviously prayers to him with the Achilles. That's a brutal injury to suffer. You wish the best there. But, like, in terms of where the Colts are now, Riley Leonard, he might not be able to play because of his knee injury. Anthony Richardson is still on IR with the orbital bone fracture. And I mean, I don't know what other option they're going to have left at this point. I mean, I honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Rivers was able to pass his physical to being out of the game for so long.
Oh my gosh. And I got to find, the other one real quick.
Yeah, granted they brought him in as a contingency plan, but I think it might even be more than that. I mean, they have to. I mean, they might have no other choice.
How about this one?
Oh my God!
Philip Rivers' first snap back with the Colts.
Fun fact. Philip Rivers.
There he goes.
Philip Rivers' oldest kid, which he is like so many kids at this point, is older than Riley Leonard, the other active quarterback in the Colts roster.
Hey,
that's insane.
I'm pulling for Philip Rivers. I really am. There's this press conference. We're not going to play it on the podcast, but go watch it, everybody. The guy is hilarious. He's a good dude. I know we're Titans fans. We can't cheer for the Colts, but I don't know. I might just have to.
I'm personally taking a lot of pleasure in this whole thing happening to the Colts. I'm not happy about Daniel Jones' injury, but I am kind of taking pleasure on how this whole thing is crumbling down for them. I really am.
What happens if Philip Rivers comes out here and just like throws some dimes? But like at the same time, not the Houston Texans. I'm sorry. Well, the Texans are still very much in it.
They still play him one more time.
And then you got the Jaguars as well, who look really good. Trevor Lawrence is balling out right now. So interesting situation there.
Yep.
But we are going to bow out tonight for episode 284. It's been a really fun episode. Appreciate my co-host Max Greenberg for bringing it tonight. We had a really good one here. Talked about a lot of stuff. Sorry for the hiatus again, but sometimes life gets in the way. But this podcast right here is something that I love dearly, and I hope you love it dearly as well. To all the listeners, we appreciate you so much, and we hope to see you again really soon. If we don't, we hope to get another episode out. We'll see. The holidays get hectic. I am coming up to Nashville, making the 11-hour drive to see my mom and see some family, and throwing the dog in the back seat, and we're going to have a good time making that road trip from St. Petersburg, not Russia, St. Petersburg, Florida,
right.
Everybody. I'm not throwing the car on a ship and going across the Atlantic or anything. But no, St. Pete, Florida. It's about an 11-hour drive, but I'm looking forward to getting back to Nashville. I was really hoping there would be a Preds game during that stretch, but unfortunately I missed that window. I'm really hoping to go see Vandy. They're coming down. Their bowl game is going to be in Tampa.
Which congratulations on the doors. Congratulations.
They didn't make the college football playoff, but I could never dream.
I told you, man. I was at the game in Knoxville when they played Tennessee. I was for Tennessee, but man, I mean, flat out.
Well, and I'm not trying to sound like a biased fan here, but I think the problem with the whole system is every time Vandy. This is the biggest argument you can make for Vandy for why they got screwed over. And it's clearly in the data. You can go back and look. Someone broke it down on Twitter. Every time Vandy beat a ranked team this year, that team got completely punished for losing to Vandy. Like they'd get dropped out of the rankings. They'd lose 10 or 15 ranking spots. And so everyone said at the end of the year, well, Vandy didn't beat a ranked team because no one's ranked now that lost to Vandy. So all those teams were obviously overranked. But every time some of these other teams would beat a ranked team, that ranked team would not drop very many points. So it was obvious bias against Vandy. Like, oh, if you lose to Vandy, you must suck. So we're just going to punish you and drop you out of the rankings. That's kind of the argument I heard supporting Vandy, is that the teams that lost to Vandy didn't get a lot of credit. They looked at it as, you must be a really bad team if you lost to Vandy. Either way, only 12 teams get in. It's just like college basketball. It really is. I mean, you're never going to satisfy everybody. Right. I mean, look at college basketball. You let how many 68 teams in, and there's still 3 or 4 teams every year in March Madness who think they got snubbed. So, I mean, I'm not, as a lifelong Vandy fan, I was upset about it for a little bit. But honestly, it was a dream season that I could have never, ever imagined. And I love all the haters coming out of the woodwork who suddenly hate Vandy and they hate Pavia and all this stuff. It's like, I love it. You're doing something right if all the haters come out and hate you, because no one ever really hated on Vandy when they were 2-10 every year, because it's like, oh, it's just poor little Vandy. Like, no one cares about them. Now that they're winning, everyone hates Vandy. I love it. I love it. Bring on the haters.
Absolutely.
All right. We're out of here. See you, everybody. Have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We will definitely try our best to get out another episode. Definitely before the new year, but maybe before Christmas. We'll see how it works out. But if not, we definitely wish you, your friends, your family a very safe and joyful holiday season, and we will see you soon. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.